What's going on, YouTube family? Today we're going to be talking about how the rental car market is absolutely trash and it's getting harder and harder to make any money. Now, if you're in the rental car business, I'm sure you've noticed that the market is completely slowed down and now it's a race to the bottom. The market is way too saturated. About 4 years ago, everybody and their grandma decided to jump on the rental car train and start renting out cars because they said that was the easiest way to become a millionaire. There were all these YouTube gurus telling them that you need to buy all these cars in your name, your grandma's name, your brother's name, and rent them out on Turo. So what happened to all these Turo gurus? They're probably all broke, sleeping on their mama's couch. So today I want to talk about how so many people are losing money and getting off these rental car platforms. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the race to the bottom. Now, the rental car business is a good business, but unfortunately, it's too oversaturated right now. If anybody does Airbnb, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are way too many people in the market. So if there's more supply than demand, what happens? The prices go down. So if you're a business owner trying to rent out your Toyota Camry and you're renting it for $60 a day, because if you do it at this prices, you can make about $25 a day in gross. And now you have the guy next to you that's basically just trying to make his car payment. He's broke. He's renting that thing out for $30 a day just so he doesn't have to make his car payment. These are the people that you're competing with when you have a race to the bottom. This is why I tell a lot of people, do not start now. Be patient and wait. As these people start getting kicked off the platform or falling off, which they will because their cars are going to get repoed and they're not making any money, it will start to bring the supply down, which hopefully brings the demand up. Now, the two cars that I picked out today are just basic economy cars. The reason why I always pick economy cars is because no matter if the economy is good or the economy is bad, cheap, affordable transportation will always rent. There is the sweet spot for making money. I talk about it all the time. That's usually what I tend to have majority of my fleet of. Now, the reason why I picked this Nissan Sentra is because about 2 weeks ago, I went to LA and I think I paid like $29 a day for a 2024 Nissan Sentra. Now this one right here is a 2023. It's got about 45 rentals on it and it's renting for about $46 a day. It's a few dollars more than what I was renting the other one from Enterprise, but let's just say that this might be a nicer option. The next car is also an economy car. It is a Mazda CX-30 2023. Now this car is renting for somewhere around $47, $48 a day. Also a good economy car. Now these cars both have the same amount of rentals. Now I usually try to get cars that have maybe 100 to 200 rentals so I can kind of show you the difference of what the market is and how much money you lose. But unfortunately, I think all the people that had hundreds of rentals are all gone. They've all gotten off the app because they're not making money anymore. And so these are the only people left. The average I saw was anywhere from 30 to 60 rentals. After that, I didn't see anything else. Now, both of these cars have been on the platform since September of last year. I went back and double checked all the reviews. So we have a 1-year track record of them renting the cars. Now, if you, let's say, balance it out to $46, $47 a day, and you times that by 45 rentals, you're probably going to make somewhere around $1,900. So in the last year, them renting out those cars, they made $1,900. Now, remember, Turo takes out anywhere from 10, 15 to 35% depending on your insurance. I think one state does go up to 40, but let's just say it's 20%. You take 20% off of $1,900, you're left with not a whole lot. And so now out of this small sliver, let's just say it's $1,600. Out of this $1,600, that's what you made for the year. Now, both of these cars at the bottom line trim, MSRP for somewhere around $22,000. Both these look like pretty decent models. Let's just balance it out and say they're worth $25,000. Now, if you buy this car for 25 grand with zero down at, let's say, 8 to 10% interest, you pay your sales tax, your car payment is going to be $500 and I believe $10. Now, keep in mind that also insurance prices have tripled in the last few months. So let's just say you're paying maybe $200 to $300 a month for full coverage insurance, because insurance in Vegas here is crazy high, even if you're driving an economy car. But let's just say it's $250, somewhere in the middle, right? So now you're paying close to $800 a month for these cars. Now, as you can see, the math doesn't make sense. If you're making $1,700 a year, but you're paying $800 a month, how does that math work out? On top of that, this does not include any maintenance or depreciation. This is where I kill 90% of the hosts when we start talking about how they're not really making money. A lot of hosts are robbing the piggy bank. Whatever money comes in through the rentals, they put it in their pockets and they tell everybody they're making all this money. They're not actually doing it correctly. There's formulas, there's apps, things out there that let you know how much of a percentage you need to put down on top of your payment and put aside for maintenance and depreciation to pay down your loan. These people never do it. That's why all these Turo gurus are broke. That's why most rental car companies fail within 2 years, because every 2 years when their cars are all beat up and high miles, they go to get out of them. They're so upside down. They owe 60 grand on them, but maybe they're only worth 25 now. This is the market. This is currently what's happening to a lot of these Turo hosts. So now they're upside down in cars. They can't get rid of. They're not making any money. What do? Well, like I said, this is another thing that's pushing that race to the bottom. They're lowering the prices and trying to drive everything down further and further just so they can get more rentals. But as you can see, these are both decent cars with decent options, renting for about $40-something a day. You cannot make any money that way. Even if you get 2 to 3 cars, it's still not worth it. And for even all the naysayers saying, you know what, Lucky, I'm still making tons of money on Turo. Okay, so let's take out mileage, depreciation, your car payment, your insurance, because we're already negative about $3,000. What about your time? What do you pay yourself? Let's just say on average, it takes you 1 hour to check in the customer, check out the customer, wash the car, gas up the car, everything else, 1 hour. So each of those cars, we have 45 rentals. That's 45 hours of your life spent chasing a negative $3,000. And so let's say you make 20 bucks an hour, add that on top. You're going to be upside down even more. So now let's say you're down $3,200 to $4,100 out of your pocket just from renting these cars out. And as you can see, if you add more cars, your compounding losses only get bigger. They have a false sense of security thinking, oh, well, Turo paid me $1,200 this month or $1,900. I'm making all this money. You're not. If you're doing it correctly, you have to pay down a bunch. This is why I tell a lot of people, if you see regular rental car companies closing up shop, leaving, and they're double the price of what your rental is, it's because we know we have to make a certain amount of money or we're going to go out of business. Think about it this way. If you're driving through an intersection, there's usually a gas station on one side and another one on the same, and they're usually off by maybe a penny or 2 pennies. Same thing with fast food. If there's a Burger King here, more than likely there's a McDonald's there. They want the competition. They know that there might be some people that will drive out of the way to save 1 cent. That's what the other company's banking for. The other one knows that if they both keep their prices high, they can make money. But guess what? Turo doesn't care. Turo's not about making money and paying off cars. Turo's about getting you on the app, making money off of your transactions. So they don't have no skin in the game. So they want you to basically put the cars up as cheap as possible. So if I'm renting my car for $60 and you're renting yours for $30, that should tell you that the market is completely off. This is something I tell Turo hosts to do all the time. If you think you're doing it right and you're making all this money, call a small local rental car company and ask them what it would cost to rent to somebody. And they'll tell you the exact dollar amount. And then if they do, ask them what their occupancy is. Are they doing maybe 15 days a month, 20 days a month? What is their usage of their cars? Once you learn that, you'll find out the true numbers. And that's what scares a lot of Turo hosts, is they're never taught this. Now, there was some things in an app, which I can't talk a whole lot about, but my friend built an application where you actually put in your cars, your mileage, what you rented them for, everything else. And then when you check them in and when you check them back out, it'll tell you to the cent on how much money you're making or losing. Every person he put in there, it showed that they were losing money. Guess what happened? Turo came in, bought his app, and killed it because they don't want people knowing that you're losing all this money every time you rent out a car. Think about it. The biggest rental car company in the world doesn't own a single rental car. The biggest hotel chain in the world, Airbnb, doesn't own a single hotel. They're just profiting off of an actual platform. So if you think about it in a business sense and you follow the money, you realize this doesn't make any sense. They're the pimp, and unfortunately, you are their hoe. And they're going to pimp you out and work you till you're going to fall over, die, and be broke and destitute, and your car is going to have 300,000 miles. They do not care. And on top of that, I talked about how a few months ago, banks are actually repoing cars because it is actually illegal in some states to use your car for commercial use. So whether you're doing Uber, Lyft, or even Turo, that is considered commercial use. And some banks and leasing companies have the right to take back their cars. So this is just another thing compounding the issues if you're thinking about getting into the business. You need to read the fine print. You need to find out. Also, a lot of insurance companies are not covering this. So if you have problems with Turo and let's say the customer crashes the car and you have to fight with your insurance company to get some sort of money, they're not going to pay you. And Turo's not paying out the fast ways like they used to. They're dragging their feet and taking their time. So I don't want to crush anybody's dreams. If you're thinking about getting started, create an account on Turo, put your car there. Do not, I repeat, do not buy a car to put on a rental car thing. Just use your own, learn the process, rent the cars out to people, get acclimated to the whole thing. And then hopefully after this election, maybe in March of next year, maybe June of next year, you can start looking at getting back into it. Because as of right now, you'll see the prices are low and they're only going to get lower the further we go down in this recession. So if you have any questions, please put in the comment section below. What did you guys think of the rental car market? Also, if you're a Turo host, let me know what city and state you're in, how you're making money, what kind of cars you're renting out. If you're losing money, it'd be great to share that with the people. And like I said, there are people I know personally that make a lot of money on Turo. Most of these people own their cars outright. But I do know a lot of people that are actually losing money. And once you put in mileage depreciation, look up these calendars and calculators. They're all online where you can put everything in, book all your days, and it'll tell you how much money you're either making or losing. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next video.